It's often been said that a dream without a plan is just a wish. It's not that sometimes that we don't think big enough, but it's the fact that we don't think big enough. Plus, we don't put together a plan in order for us to get to where we want to go. Hi, everyone. Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. And this is the second installment of a three-part series that I put together that I've entitled The Three C's of Creating Breakthroughs. As I've been observing not only in my own life, but in the people that I serve, both clients and martial arts students, is I find that there are three common areas that when we focus on those and we continue to work toward them, that we can really have some breakthroughs in our life. And last week we talked about the first C, which is to clarify your vision, to get really super clear about what you want in your life. And, because if you don't know where you're going, you don't know if you ever get there, right? So the components of clarifying your vision last week that we looked at was, number one is asking yourself and getting clear about what you really want. And then number two was getting clear about why that's important to you. What's your big why? And then finally, who do you need to become? Who do you need to show up being in order to make that a reality? Well, this week, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the second C, and that is going to be creating a plan. One of the things that I find again in my coaching and as I instruct martial arts students is if you don't have a plan, you really don't, you may have the greatest amount of enthusiasm and talent, but you're just not going to get anywhere. I mean, if a student came to me and said they wanted to be a black belt, and I said, well, just show up for the next 3 years and we'll see what happens, probably is not going to take place. But if I put a curriculum together that is all focused on belts and little goals within inside of that, pretty soon, step by step, they're able to manifest their dreams. So what are the key components of creating a plan when you really want to have a breakthrough in your life or your business? Well, the first one is that you begin with the end in mind, but then you break it down. You see, I think what gets us down sometimes is that we have these big grandiose things we want to do, and they're so big, they're intimidating, right? And they actually should be. If you're going to do something big, right? But many times they're scary. And as a result of that, we don't know where to start. So what I always suggest is you have the big plan, but then you break it down into small, digestible chunks that you can get moving on now. And so you can just take one step, which leads to the next, which leads to the next. So start small. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be, totally out of your comfort zone, but it gets you momentum going. But then you're consistent with that action. So rather than say you do something and then a month later you're going to do something, break it down so you can work on it each and every day. So it's in your consciousness and you start building momentum and you start building enthusiasm. And also along those lines, when you're up against it, don't be afraid to ask for help, because there's a lot of people out there that want to help you. Friends, parents, spouses, coaches, right? That can help you move through by breaking it down and then taking that action. So that's the first element of creating our plan. The second one is to find someone to hold you capable. Now, I want to make this distinction. I got this distinction from my good friend Kellyanne Zelinsky. And in the coaching world, we talk a lot about holding people accountable. And I think it's a brilliant concept. But I also know that accountable can sometimes seem a little bit demeaning. It might seem a little pejorative. It might be a little bit where you're holding someone down. But holding someone capable says, I see greatness in you. And if this is what you really want, I'm going to hold you to that standard. There's a positiveness about that gets you inspired and gets you to want to work with someone and actually have them hold you capable to something you may or you may not even know exists inside of yourself. So number two, find yourself someone who can hold you capable, someone who's going to be honest with you, that's going to hold you to your promises and not let you squeak by, but someone who has your best interest in mind because they see the greatness in you. So that's number two. Number three is plan for the obstacles. Ooh, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Many times what we do is we get very clear on our goals and our intentions, and we think it's a straight line from point A to point B. But I know that it's never that way, right? Yes, nothing ever takes generally as much time as you plan. It's usually longer. It's usually costs more money, all those types of things. You're going to have obstacles. And where I see people get in trouble is they think they're going to do it obstacle free. And when one hits them, then they get off track. They don't know how to deal with it. There's a positive psychologist named Gabrielle Ottingen, and she kind of came up with this great acronym that I think is an awesome tool for dealing with obstacles. And she calls it WOOP. WOOP, WOOP. And W stands for the wish that you want to have. What's your intention? What's your goal? And then number 2 is what's your objective? I mean, what do you want to accomplish? What are the ways you want to feel? What are the details? But then number 3 is the most important. It's what are the obstacles that you might come up against along the way. Now, when you know that they may come up, doesn't mean you focus on them, but when they're there, they don't knock you out balance, because now it's like something, hey, I know that was going to come, because the P is my plan for dealing with that obstacle. So your wish, your outcome, your objective, your obstacle, and then what's your plan to deal with that obstacle? And then finally, the one that is the most difficult one for me is to plan your celebration. That's even hard for me to say. Plan your celebration. I don't know about you, but I want to go create a goal and then I'm right on to the next one, right? But what happens is our basic self, that part of us, that little childlike aspect of us, it wants rewards. And when you do that and you recognize yourself, you're going to continue to motivate and inspire yourself to move forward. Now, it's not just a celebration at the very end of your accomplishment, although I think those are important, but also that step by step, each week, if you've accomplished the things that you set forth to do, reward yourself there. It could be, a chai latte at Starbucks. It could be going out to a movie. It could be a walk in nature. Whatever it is for you, something to keep yourself moving because you're inspired to move to your breakthrough. So there you have it, my friends. There is the second C of creating breakthroughs, and that is to create your plan. And so, have a vision, begin with the end in mind, but then break it down. Number 2 is to have someone hold you capable. Number 3, plan for the obstacles. And then finally, make sure you plan to celebrate. So there you have it, my friends. This has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. Let me know what you thought about this. And if this is a tool that can help you move forward to have the breakthroughs you not only want, but deserve. And once again, this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. And we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.